Hello and welcome back to Siesta Gate Racing. We're here in Catalunya, episode 15 of Moto3 mode. It's a good one for us. We definitely solidify some more of our resolve to take over this championship, so make sure you give it a thumbs up, you hit like, you share, you subscribe, and you check out the other videos of the channel. I know you want to watch it. Thank you for watching. So let's jump straight down into it. We're going down to the Monster Energy Grand Prix of Catalonia, and we're going to jump straight into our best qualifying lap here to keep the racing action more prevalent in these episodes, as a lot of you have indicated you prefer seeing the race content over the qualifying content. So, Catalunya, a very interesting track, is it not? I find it, I used to not like it as much, but as I've come into sort of MotoGP 23, 4 and 5, I've actually found some, with GP24 when it really clicked in our career mode in GP on LCR Honda, that was something that had made me really click with this track, and ever since then I've been quite competitive around Catalunya. But it's a very fun track once you learn how to deal with it. Coming into the heavy turn 4, now there's a few variants of lines you can take through here. I like to take it close to the curb, back out to the other curb before coming into the hairpin, where we've seen the fantastic shots of Martin here. Come out just kissing the curb on the outside there, not too much because you don't want that rubble to lose you any time. Can be very easy to lose the front here. You're braking into a left hand, semi off camber in the braking section, but the camber comes back midway through the corner. Flicking now into turn 9, the Campsa corner. Coming out here, you're trying to get as much drive as you can over this new bridge section that's here now. Down into turn 10. That has been modified from the past. We've seen some dramatic races here at the previous iteration of the track. You can see on the left-hand side there. And now we're just looking to keep that pace nice and smooth, nice and easy, nice and consistent. Nothing out of the ordinary here. And now just making sure we're coming in as close to those curbs as possible. You can use a bit of curb here like we have. And then coming back in, keeping nice and close to the curb and coming back out to the curb again. Maintain that speed, keep it smooth and precision, get you a good lap here. That's a 1:47.6, and that was enough to put us on pole for the Grand Prix in Catalunya. We've got our rivals behind us. For whatever reason it's saying we're second, so I don't know why we're getting cheated out of pole here. Oh, we're temporarily back in, so maybe, or whatever, it's a game glitch there. This isn't a bad start compared to what we normally have in Moto3, so we're right there contesting for the podium positions, even back contesting for P1 into turn 1. We're going to do a little bit of a block pass there on Rueda to ensure that we get ourselves back to P1 on lap 1 of 6 here at Catalunya. So now the battle between Rueda and Piqueras and Munoz, Carpe, Quiles, Ralston, Kelso, Buchanan and Detweiler. That sort of might continue as the race goes on. But let's see what we can do with the pace that we have here. Already 0.5 up on this first lap, so we are flying. Our objectives, we're doing really well. We're 110 points ahead of Fernandez, so this is all looking good for the rest of our championship as we come into sort of the tail end. Well, not the tail end fully, but almost over halfway here in the GP season. Pini's picked up a warning for irresponsible riding. Where's Pini sitting? He's not in the top 10 on the left-hand side of the tower. On the left-hand side of the screen on the tower, sorry, I should say. Looks like we're bringing out a pretty strong gap here against the rest of the riders, so this is something that could be very good for us, keeping ourselves in this position. So it's still hovering around a second as we come across the line for the first time with 1:49.623. Now into off corner, or by turn 2, very flick, left, right in that first part of the track. We've gone a little bit wide here, but it's okay if we can keep the speed going down into the next corner. Braking now and trying not to brake too hard, but just enough that you carry that speed into the mid-corner, get to that midpoint, pivot and turn through to the next part of the corner. So there is sort of a few different lines you can take around this Catalunya circuit, which can be, it just sort of depends on your riding style, how you best work with the bike and what best works for you. Seems like everything's staying in quite consistent pace for most of the field here, and position-wise, there's not much changing around, so maybe everyone's pushing as best they can. So really pulling out a gap here of 2.1 to 1.9 seconds, so that is going quite well for us here in this race as we cross the line now for the halfway point with the fastest lap of a 1:47.937. This stage we're just really stretching the field, keeping everything nice and easy. Smooth sailing here so far at Catalunya. Doesn't look like there's going to be any weather change, which there has been quite a few races where the weather has come into play at the end of the race. So hopefully this time around we have a clear race with clear conditions and we're clearly pulling away from the field very easily here. Again, we're just pulling away from the field, 4.3 seconds ahead. At this stage, everyone's still holding their position, so there hasn't really been much passing, so everyone must be pushing or trying to stay in the best position they can. Maybe they're conserving for tyres, but I feel with 2 laps to go, they would want to be going a bit further, a bit faster in their race pace at this stage. So that cut there was just because at the time I had to pause the race to do a few things off screen and had to come back. So this is still the same race, I just had to edit it there so that it wasn't, the menu didn't show. So let me pick up from where we were. We're currently leading the race by about 4 seconds, so that's quite good. Still no change in positions, so everything is the same as it has been pretty much from lap 1. So I suppose the spectators were expecting a bit more of a Moto3 duel, which is quite common of a Moto3, absolutely having a bar banging race where it's just handlebar to handlebar, rubbing paint, all that kind of stuff. But here it seems to have not fully eventuated, and it's been a rather single line sort of race, which is very rare for Moto3. As we come across the line now for lap 5, look, we've been doing quite consistent lap times with 149, a 147, a 148, a 148. Well, there's a pretty big variance in that, but it's keeping us solidly ahead of the rest of the field here as we come through these corners for the penultimate time. Slip on the rear there, so we do want to be careful not to throw away the lead that we do have now. Rueda has had a crash. So that was the main rival here for Piqueras and Munoz in this race. So there has been a bit of a jostle for position. Ralston is also, I don't know if Ralston was always ahead of Kelso or if the timeline's having a little bit of a glitch on the left-hand side of the screen there, but Rueda's out. So another big hitter in this championship has now fallen down, which is giving us more and more points at this stage of the championship. I'm not sure where Fernandez is sitting, but we're still clear of him by 109 points, so there's not much he can do at this stage unless we have a really abysmal tail end of the season. So the points position between second, third and fourth in the rider standings is all very close, but for ourselves we're quite clear ahead at this stage. As we come on to the final lap at Catalunya, 5.7 seconds ahead, so this is a thrashing in Moto3 terms. Bringing the Honda to the top step of the podium, which is something that hasn't been so good realistically for Honda in 2025 in the Moto3 category. They're there, in some circuits they are there, but they're certainly not as competitive as a package overall compared to the KTMs. But this time round in Moto3 we've gone with the Honda. Oh, big twitch where that front lifted up and then that change of direction, the change of weight just caused the bike to shake there. So we do need to be careful, but we are pushing further and getting to 6 seconds ahead of the field. That rear is stepping out quite a lot. So it looks like we've got enough tyre grip, but it looks like the track itself is relatively low grip. As we come across the line now, first here in Catalunya, solidifying our place in the championship. Okay, so we won that race from Piqueras, Munoz, Carpe, Quiles, Ralston, Kelso, also in the top 10. Fernandez was 15th, so he did score a point. Piqueras is up 2 positions as Rueda is in 5th, Fernandez has dropped 2, and Munoz is in 3rd. Ourselves on 283, leading the championship. Piqueras 102 behind us. Teams Championship, we're sitting on 314 points. So if you've liked this one, guys, give it a big thumbs up, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and make sure to check out the other videos here on the channel. I really appreciate you sharing your time and watching these videos. Don't forget to comment down below. Stay safe, have fun, see you guys on the next one. Bye for now.